Okay, good morning everyone. Is this on? Yes. Sounds like it is. So good morning. My name is Minja Koskela and I'm a music education doctoral student. Here I will shortly present the topic and the aims of my doctoral project. The headline is the one you can see on the slide, Democracy through Pop Music, exploring the politics of diversity in the Finnish lower secondary popular music education. Someone who is not familiar with music education research and popular music education might think, so what? Why does this matter? And why popular music? And doesn't the democracy matter in every possible musics? The short answer is, of course it does. However, I am here to present you the more thorough answer. My research journey began when I started to work as a music teacher in 2013. That's when I first became interested in popular music's democratic potential. I worked in lower secondary school and high school, and the school where I worked, students had remarkably diverse backgrounds. Altogether, over 60% of the students had some other mother tongue than Finnish. That's when I realized that, hey, this counts. The diversity counts. Diversity interacts with the school's socio-cultural structures and makes our expectations and norms visible with respect to different identities such as so-called race, social class, and gender. I also began to understand that it had been possible for me to stay unaware of how diversity manifests as inequalities in schools' everyday life, because I am part of the norm. I am white. My gender matches the sex that I was assigned at birth. I am an educated middle-class person. That means that I am a privileged person, and thus I needed to become aware of my privileges to understand the power structures in which inequalities are being shaped. When I understood this, it let me consider what sorts of hidden structures there are in music education and in my own teaching. In other words, I wanted to understand how the diversity and social interaction work together with the school structures to produce inequalities in my own music education practices. To explore this issue further, I decided to conduct a practitioner research in my own teaching context by videotaping my lessons, interviewing my students, and keeping a teacher-researcher's journal. To gain understanding on school socio-cultural context, I also included Finnish National Core Curricula 2004 and 2014 as part of my research data. When I started to conduct a study in my own teaching context, that's when popular music stepped into the picture. Finnish school music education is internationally appreciated of its pedagogical use of popular music. Finnish music classrooms are equipped as garage bands. We have electronic guitars, electronic basses, drum kits, synthesizers, singing microphones, and iPads. We make classroom arrangement on chart hits. And we make arrangements so that playing doesn't require highly advanced hands-on competence, but is possible for everyone. We care about what our students listen to and include their interest in our pedagogical contexts. This is why the earlier popular music education research has argued popular music to be a relatively democratic medium through which to teach music. And partly because of this democracy argument, popular music has become a hegemonic practice in Finnish school music teaching. And in this hegemony narrative, my classroom was not an exception. I believe that the minute something reaches a hegemonic position, it needs to be considered critically. This obviously applies to popular music education as well. Popular music is so tightly included in school music education that its use is rarely questioned. There are, of course, some research that has argued, for example, that popular music as such is not necessarily alone capable to guarantee the democracy of music teaching, and that at its worst, popular music may even work as a means for social exclusion. However, when it comes to bigger research narrative, the research on popular music education usually starts by asking what and how. In other words, popular music education research often focuses on the subject content, yet the contexts in which popular music is used have left with relatively little regard. Hence, the starting point of this study is to shift the focus from the musical style and its pedagogical use to the classroom negotiations. By shifting the focus from the popular music itself to the structures in which the genre is implemented and to the people who are implementing it, my study aims at further discussing how the structures and social categories such as gender, race, and nationality construct each other's and inequalities and thus shape the classroom democracy. In this study, I acknowledge democracy from an Deweyan perspective. That means that democracy here is understood as more than a form of government, namely as communicated experiences. These quotes are from Dewey. Thus, democracy is here not seen as an endpoint, but as constant negotiation. Furthermore, constant negotiation is supposed to make room for conflict, as conflict indicates that, and I quote Chantal Mouffe here, democracy is alive and inhabited by pluralism. Deriving from these notions, in my study, the classroom negotiations in popular music are seen as processes which have potential to widen the societal horizons of the participants, as the negotiations require to actively listen to others' experiences and interpretations. To explore these classroom negotiations, I theoretically rely on intersectional feminism. Intersectionality is a theory which explores how different social dimensions construct power hierarchies in interaction with the societal structures. Thus, intersectionality is here used to deepen the understandings on the complex networks of power within which the inequalities are being shaped, thus affecting the classroom interaction, the experiences of the students, and hence the democracy of music teaching. So far, I have generated the data and started the analysis process. My dissertation is article-based, and I am currently finalizing the first 2 articles. There are still many unfinished thoughts and multiple unwritten ideas. However, based on my first 2 article drafts, I dare to suggest the following. First, the perception of popular music education's somewhat unquestioned student-centeredness may be a risk for educational democracy. That is because at its worst, treating students as a homogeneous group may lead to bypassing the complexity of diversity. Thus, the conceptualization of youngsters as a unified entity could be deconstructed, for example, by intersectionalizing the category of youth, as we suggest in my first dissertation article. Second, the teacher could benefit of understanding how societal power structures shape interaction and experiences of the people in her classroom. Thus, in my second dissertation article, we suggest that reflexivity and intersectionality could serve useful tools to encourage the teacher to become aware of the power structures in which popular music education is put into practice. So far, this research journey has been a wonderful struggle, so to say. There is still a lot ahead of me, and I can't wait to find it all out. So thank you very much for listening, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to send me an email or send a tweet, for example. Thank you.